Because I put a tweet out at the start of the game saying, really exciting team, wonder how many of these will be nailed on first teamers in a few years. And I got people saying, none based on that. And I know, it's Tom's laughing, I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, that distresses me because, and this is an entirely separate point, but let's run with it. If a young player started for Liverpool, let me start this again. Liverpool are one of the elite football clubs in world football. Yeah. Now, we know we're not quite where we once were, but, you know, if you looked at the top clubs in terms of setup, size, quality of player, quality of manager, all that kind of stuff, Liverpool are one of the elite football clubs in world football. If you picked and go to another one of those elite football clubs in world football and look and pick out the 17, 18 and 19-year-olds playing first team football, even just a few games of first team football for those teams, I guarantee you'd be creaming all over them. You would be giggling your tits off to see them sign for your club. So why do we have this mentality that these players are not good enough because they already play for us? When if the roles were a bit, people say, well, they wouldn't be good enough to get in those teams. Well, I say, how the fuck do you judge that? Because you can only judge them by the fact that they're playing senior football at a top football club, and those players absolutely are doing that. Well, time will tell whether they come to, you know, they fulfil any potential that the manager sees they have. But I choose to look at it from the perspective of Jurgen Klopp and his team think these guys are good enough to go out and win that game of football, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have had to, you know, he wouldn't have had the bench loaded, you know what I mean? He clearly didn't want to replay as evidenced by the substitutions made, so he thought this team was good enough. So why do people get so bent out of shape by our youth players not being amazing?
Fuck knows. I think it's just because people don't know how to deal with a draw or a loss. I think, you know, people seem to think, I don't know, these guys must play computer games on fucking easy. You know what I mean? And just win everything. Because winning and losing is part of what makes football so fucking great. And the fact that you can have draws. And I just love it. Like, and it's great to see young players when the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, if he wasn't good enough and Jurgen Klopp didn't think he was going to be good enough, he wouldn't have started that game.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have loaned out John Flanagan.
Nope.
You know, there's things that have happened before today that make me think Klopp's got confidence in those players, like loaning out Flanagan.
Well, exactly. And, you know, look at the lads who have played football. You've got Maguire and you've got Randall as well, who've both, you know, fringed on the first team, more so for Randall than Maguire. But Randall played quite a lot of football in the last year or so. You just put him in, he's older, he's more experienced, but they clearly see something in Trent. And I actually think anyone who watched that game
would be able to see
that there's something that Trent's got something, particularly is the first, I'd say 70 minutes of that match. I thought he was great. I thought he faded a bit more in the second half because I don't think we were that good in the second half in total. But I think that first, his touch, his willingness to support the attack, and I actually thought, and someone tweeted this to me, and they said, I think they tweeted this to me, or maybe I just saw it on Twitter, and they said, if we didn't have Nathaniel Clyne, I'd be saying Alexander-Arnold deserves more first team football based on that performance. But him in particular, because, you know, that first half in particular, I thought he was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, you know what? He's someone who's got legs and speed as well, isn't he? He's got that extra yard of pace like that some players don't have, and he's always up and down.
He's got legs.
He's got legs, mate. He's brilliant, and as you say, you mentioned his touch. There was 3 or 4 times I just shouted touch because it's fucking brilliant. And you know, there's him. I was excited to see Gomez back in the side as well.
Yeah.
Didn't look like he'd lost anything.
Yes.
If anything, again, him and Ojo both seem to have stocked up a little bit. Whether they've been working in the gym while they've been out injured and stuff, it looked like he's ready to be that fourth choice centre back. He obviously needs game time and he needs to get back fit and firing.
I think there's a point on Gomez, and I totally agree. He was the one performance for me that I took most heart from, because I'd forgotten how good a football it is, and he looked the most talented player on the pitch. Yeah. And I know, look, again, let's take it back to the start. They offered fuck all, really. But what he had to do, he did it well. That lad he cut up against was obviously
the 26.
a bit of a brute, bit of a grok. Obviously looking to bully him a bit, and he had 1 or 2 little sticky moments. But how calm and composed he was very Matip-like in the way that he just looked like it looks effortless when he's got the ball at his feet. And there will come days when there are exactly what you said didn't happen. There will be fast centre forward, on his toes, booting him, looking to press him at any given opportunity. So this was actually quite a good game for him. But no, Gomez, great to have him back and available.
It's the composure that all, you know, especially across the back line. I think Lucas gave an air of composure to the back line, of course. Moreno probably an air of not giving composure. But on that right-hand side, Gomez and Trent were just class. They don't look rushed in any way, shape or form. And maybe at times they weren't rushed, but, you know, crisp passing, good movements, always offering each other a pass, always shouting and telling people where they are, where the man is, where they're supposed to be, you know, and that's great to see from, you know, guys who are coming up from an under level. Gomez obviously working his way back to fitness, but you can see that Trent's been a captain. Yeah. You can see the way that he speaks to players on the pitch and he's not asked about it. You can see Gomez is made of cut from the same cloth as well, like, so it's great to see. And then on the moving further forward throughout the pitch, Woodburn, I thought, had a terrific first half again, always offering an option. What I found quite interesting is that Ojo was played on the right-hand side. Because last season when Ojo was in, maybe it was to do with the fact that we had Benteke and stuff, he played a lot on the left, didn't he? Whipping balls in. Whereas we saw yesterday they played as two very much inverted wingers. Woodburn's a bit more both-footed, isn't he? Yeah. Very comfortable crossing on his right. Shea Ojo, lots of cutting inside, and Trent whipping around the outside of him.
Yeah,
no. Quite interesting to see.